few modern artists sound as nostalgic as Lana Del Rey. We're making a considerable leap through time here, from the early 1970s of last week's Nick Drake album ranking to the 2010s and 2020s of today. From a shy folk singer to an artist who sounds as if she drifted in from another era, Lana Del Rey creates modern music that is deeply rooted in the past at the same time. Cinematic, nostalgic, and often suspended outside of time itself. Today, we're ranking 10 of her most beautiful songs. Not an easy task, because her albums are filled with strong material, which meant some painful omissions had to be made. Lana Del Rey is an artist who has always divided opinion. For some listeners, her music feels too calculated, too constructed, not authentic enough.
Hey, Cleveland, how'd you do that with your phone?
I'm not an idiot.
I use Shazam. It recognizes songs and tells you their names.
Yeah? Hey, what if I farted into it?
I don't know. Be my guest.
It says Lana Del Rey.
I belong to the other camp. Since her breakthrough with video games, I've followed her career closely, and what I see is an artist who has built her own universe. Timeless, cinematic, and instantly recognizable. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my Lana Del Rey song ranking. Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of We're Only in It for the Music, a YouTube series that takes you through the musical universe, from ABBA to Zappa and everything in between and beyond. Click the like and subscribe buttons, and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode. But enough of that, never mind the bollocks. We're only in it for the music. Lana Del Rey can now draw from an impressive body of work spanning 11 albums. Her official debut, Lana Del Rey, aka Lizzie Grant, was withdrawn shortly after its release, and today mostly survives as a bootleg among dedicated fans. That record, along with her spoken word and poetry project, Violet Bent Backwards Over the Grass, has been left out of this ranking. Even so, what remains is a vast and remarkable catalog to choose from. And with a new album set to arrive this year, there's every chance this list may need revisiting in the future. But for now, let's begin. We open this top 10 with the closing track of Lana Del Rey's album, Norman Fucking Rockwell, or simply NFR, widely regarded as her masterpiece. Hope is a dangerous thing for a woman like me to have. But I have. It is a stripped-down, almost fragile piano ballad, in which Lana reveals herself more vulnerably than ever before. The song breathes melancholy and carries that unmistakable vintage haze so characteristic of her music, as if you're listening to the soundtrack of a film that was never made. It is one of her most personal compositions, almost diary-like in tone. Midway through, she references poet Sylvia Plath, a troubled soul whose work resonates deeply with the themes of loneliness and introspection that flow through this song. In Hope, Del Rey explores the danger of hope, how it can keep you standing while at the same time threatening to break you. And yet, she refuses to let go of it. A restrained yet powerful closing statement from an exceptional album, and a fitting way to begin this ranking. At number 9.
Number 9.
Grandfather, please stand on the shoulders of my father while he's deep-sea fishing. In recent years, Lana Del Rey seems to be making a serious bid for the title of longest song titles in pop music, a category long dominated by Sufjan Stevens. Behind this imposing title lies one of the most striking moments on Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard. The song unfolds almost like a spiritual dialogue with family and the past. While Lana often sings in a lower, dreamy register, Grandfather opens in a higher, clearer voice. That unexpected shift in tone immediately sets the song apart and makes it feel all the more vulnerable. The result is a serene, almost weightless composition in which personal reflection and calm gently converge. As so often with Del Rey, the song feels unmistakably cinematic, as if it unfolds in a quiet scene somewhere on open water, far removed from the world. A restrained and beautiful ballad that demonstrates the continued strength of her recent work and earns its place in this top 10. We travel back to 2011, the moment the world was first properly introduced to Lana Del Rey. Born to Die, the title track of her breakthrough album, laid the blueprint for everything that would follow. Sweeping strings, a languid hip-hop beat, and a dramatic build create a sound that feels both vintage and modern at once, a style that would quickly become her signature. With Born to Die, she didn't just introduce a song, but a persona. Here, for the first time, we hear that distinctive blend of melancholy, glamour, and fatalism that would come to define her music. Many of Lana's songs carry the allure of a classic Bond theme, timeless, grand, and cinematic. And Born to Die is no exception. An iconic opening chapter in a career that has since evolved into a universe entirely of her own. At number 7, we find Doin' Time, taken from the excellent NFR album, originally recorded by Sublime in 1996. But in Lana Del Rey's hands, it feels as though the song was always meant for her. With her languid vocals and the sultry production, it fits seamlessly into the dreamy, sun-soaked atmosphere that has become so characteristic of her work. It's music that almost automatically conjures images of sun-drenched boulevards and endless summer days. The subtle nod to Gershwin's Summertime from Porgy and Bess completes the picture. Lana Del Rey has a gift for absorbing elements of pop culture and reshaping them into something unmistakably her own. Doin' Time is a perfect example, not a simple cover, but a full reinterpretation within her own musical universe. The result is a track that sits effortlessly alongside her original material and proves just how naturally this style suits her. At number 6, we find Brooklyn Baby, a song in which Lana Del Rey is both insider and observer, and that duality is precisely where its strength lies. We return for the first time to Ultraviolence, the album on which she further expanded her artistic world. Brooklyn Baby is a slow, drifting track in which she playfully and audibly satirizes the New York hipster scene. Through a string of cliches and cultural name-dropping, she sketches a world of vintage cool and carefully constructed authenticity. Lana wrote the song with Lou Reed in mind and even hoped to collaborate with him. Fate decided otherwise. Reed passed away on the very day she arrived in New York, yet his spirit still haunts the song, most notably in the line, "He plays guitar while I sing Lou Reed." References to beat poets, rare jazz records, and downtown culture place the track within a timeless, almost 1960s-inspired setting. At the same time, it remains unmistakably modern, a balance Del Rey manages like few others. Brooklyn Baby is playful, sharp, and self-aware, and stands as one of the most distinctive moments on Ultraviolence. We've reached the top 5 and once again returned to NFR, an album that seems to divide Lana Del Rey's career into two distinct chapters, before and after Norman fucking Rockwell. On this record, she gradually lets go of the more electronic, pop-oriented sound of her early years, shifting instead toward organic instrumentation and storytelling. Mariner's Apartment Complex is one of the clearest examples of that transition. The song was inspired by a late-night walk with a partner she was seeing at the time. Lana herself explained, "The song is about this time I took a walk late at night with a guy I was seeing, and we stopped in front of his friend's apartment complex, and he put his hand around my shoulder and he said, 'I think we are together because we're both similar, like we're both really messed up.' And I thought it was the saddest thing I'd ever heard. And I said, 'I'm not sad. I didn't know that's why you thought you were relating to me on that level. I'm actually doing pretty good.' And he was upset. And that's when I wrote the song. I thought I had to do so many times, where I had to sort of step into that role where I was showing the way and I was sort of being the brighter light. But that's why it's so cool that you're playing it, because I thought that I'd just put it out and it would be one of those things that I'd put out just to have there for myself, but it's cool being able to share it with people too." In Mariner's Apartment Complex, Del Rey refuses to continue playing the role of the tragic muse. Instead, she shifts the perspective and positions herself as the guiding force. No longer the girl who needs saving, but the one leading the way. Critics praised the song for this newfound self-awareness and saw it as a turning point within her body of work. With its loose structure, poetic lyrics, and introspective tone, Mariner's Apartment Complex feels like the moment Lana Del Rey fully steps into her artistic identity, a key song in her catalog, and a natural choice for the top 5. At number 4, we find what may be the song that defines Lana Del Rey most clearly. Summertime Sadness contains all the elements that make her music instantly recognizable. A sultry, almost summery atmosphere paired with an undercurrent of melancholy. It sounds light and accessible, yet beneath the surface lies a dark love story. The accompanying music video suggests a tragic fate for the two lovers, while the weight of that theme remains subtle and implicit in the lyrics themselves. As so often with Del Rey, the darkness never overwhelms the music but slowly seeps through between the lines. In the song, she once again weaves in pop cultural references, this time nodding to Bruce Springsteen with lines that echo "Dancing in the Dark" and "I'm on Fire." It's a perfect example of how Del Rey effortlessly absorbs influences from the past and reshapes them within her own universe. Summertime Sadness may not be her very best song, but it is the one that most sharply defines her artistic identity, making it an essential entry in this top 10 and a well-deserved number 4. We enter the top 3 and remain with the album Norman fucking Rockwell, whose title track takes the number 3 spot. In this song, Lana once again dissects a destructive relationship, this time with a sharp, almost satirical edge. The title refers to the iconic American painter Norman Rockwell, a symbol of idealism and perfection, a contrast Del Rey deliberately employs to expose the cracks beneath the surface. She herself described the song as a portrait of a brilliant yet self-absorbed artist, trapped within his own ego. Musically, the track evokes the atmosphere of Laurel Canyon in the late 1960s. With its warm piano tones and classic songwriting, it could, aside from the explicit language, easily belong in the repertoire of Joni Mitchell. Much like in Mariner's apartment complex, Lana observes a man who falls short emotionally, yet remains irresistibly compelling. In the line, "Why wait for the best when I could have you?" she captures that painful paradox with striking clarity. Norman fucking Rockwell is bittersweet, sharp, and self-aware, and stands as one of the central pillars of her body of work. Suffering for art has rarely sounded so bittersweet. The dreamy harp, the languid vocals, and the unmistakable retro atmosphere. Video games captivated me from the very first listen. In 2011, in a pop landscape dominated by electronic hits and radio-friendly productions, this song sounded as though it had arrived from another era. Cinematic, baroque, and steeped in melancholy, almost in a David Lynch-like way. That same year, REM announced their breakup, a band that had long been a musical anchor for me. Their departure left a void I couldn't quite place, until video games appeared. At first glance, REM and LDR may seem worlds apart, but in their lyrics, they share a deep affection for pop cultural references and icons of the past. Where Michael Stipe sang about Montgomery Clift or Andy Kaufman, Lana created her own universe of nostalgia and romance. Video games became my new anchor. With this song, Lana Del Rey introduced herself to the world as an artist willing to step outside the established boundaries of pop music. Her low, almost nonchalant delivery and the lush pizzicato strings gave the track a timeless quality that immediately stood out. By her own description, Lana sounds like a gangsta Nancy Sinatra, surrounded musically by synth arpeggios and dreamy harp textures. The story of a young, slightly lost love, two outsiders finding one another, feels romantic on the surface, yet carries an undercurrent of resignation and sadness. As so often with Del Rey, personal melancholy is transformed into something universal. Video games marked her breakthrough and the beginning of a remarkable artistic journey. But there is one song that captures everything Lana Del Rey would eventually become even more completely. And so we arrive at number 1 in this Lana Del Rey song ranking. Only one song stands above video games. Venice Bitch is not a traditional pop song, but a musical journey that takes its time to unfold. Over the course of more than 9 minutes, it moves from a dreamy ballad into a loose, almost psychedelic jam, ultimately dissolving into a hypnotic coda. Here, Lana Del Rey fully abandons the conventions of pop music without ever sacrificing accessibility. Everything flows organically. It doesn't feel like a composition built from separate parts, but rather like one continuous breath. When the winding synths introduce the closing section, time itself seems to slow. Venice Bitch feels less like a pop song and more like a summer trip you wish would never end. Lyrically, too, this is a rich and layered composition. References to Norman Rockwell, Nancy Sinatra, and Crimson and Clover firmly place the song within the American pop tradition from which Del Rey so often draws inspiration. With the line, "Nothing gold can stay," she echoes the famous poem by Robert Frost, once again underlining the central theme of impermanence. She had previously used that same phrase in music to watch Boys 2, further weaving literary references into her own mythology. The American poet was also invoked by Paul Simon in The Dangling Conversation, where Frost's name is used to evoke the fleeting nature of love. In Venice Bitch, Lana Del Rey reveals herself as the undisputed architect of her own universe, nostalgic yet modern, seductive yet melancholic. She makes no attempt to conceal it. Oh God, miss you on my lips. It's me, your little Venice bitch. You sense that this woman is a femme fatale, yet utterly irresistible. Danger beckons, the adventure awaits. The attraction is simply too strong, and that applies not only to the character within the song, but to the song itself. Its pull is irresistible. And for that very reason, Venice Bitch takes the #1 spot in this Lana Del Rey song ranking. It is the moment where everything comes together. Her sound, her themes, and her artistic freedom. This is Lana Del Rey at her very best. Lana Del Rey's discography has grown increasingly impressive in scope. Her albums are richly filled and together form an almost complete musical universe. Assembling a top 10 therefore inevitably means that much beauty falls outside the list. Especially since Norman fucking Rockwell, her work has shifted more and more toward a pure singer-songwriter approach, alternating between lush arrangements and sober, intimate compositions. Her music often feels like the soundtrack to a film that was never made, a melancholic summer slowly giving way to autumn. That is why a few honorable mentions simply cannot be left out. For Free, her Joni Mitchell cover with Zellade and Wise Blood is one of the highlights of Chemtrails Over the Country Club, as is Dark But Just a Game. The understated The Grants opens Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard beautifully. While Beautiful People, Beautiful Problems, her duet with Stevie Nicks, is one of the gems of Lust for Life. The same goes for the title track, featuring guest vocalist The Weeknd. Personally, this artist sounds a bit too much like a kind of Mickey Mouse on helium to me, but the song itself is irresistibly catchy. Ultraviolence and the irresistibly poppy radio also deserve a mention, as does the infamous Cola, in which Lana once again reveals her playful and provocative side and boldly claims, "My pussy tastes like Pepsi Cola." Very naughty of Del Rey to sing about Pepsi Cola. Doesn't she know that this counts as stealth advertising? And finally, Taco Truck, which subtly returns to Venice Bitch at the very end, bringing the circle back to where it started. Because in the end, we always come back to that one song. Lana Del Rey's catalog keeps growing, and this list will probably never be definitive, but that's the beauty of an artist like her. And that was Lana Del Rey's song ranking. What does your top 10 look like? Which Lana track is your #1? Let me know in the comment section under this video. I'm always curious to hear your opinion. Listen to Lana Del Rey and all the other music featured in this series via the Spotify playlist. And visit the social media pages on Facebook and Instagram for all updates, because I will follow you if you follow me. All links can be found in the description. Click like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell. It's very much appreciated. Thanks for watching. See you next time. And in the meantime, drop the needle, press play, and remember, we're only in it for the music.